One of the goals of the ADA was to change the way the world perceives disability and then reacts to it.
Marka Bristow.
For the first time, the Americans with Disabilities Act enshrined in federal law that disability is a natural part of the human experience and that the world needs to change a little to let us in.
Photos of a DC rally for ADA passage.
The Chicago disability community was very engaged with the passage of the ADA.
A woman in a mic. Her shirt reads, "Disabled and Proud."
In fact, Access Living was the Midwest organizing hub.
Disabled groups assemble in the Capitol.
We took our directions from the people inside the Beltway who were working on the draft language. I was the president of our National Council on Independent Living at the time.
Marka Bristow and Justin Darden, DC.
We led a march from the Congress to the White House demanding a meeting with the administration.
President Bush signing the ADA.
We got it, and that was a watershed moment in getting the administration to move forward on some of its resistance. You have to understand that the disability community had been told we'd never get this done.
A group of people with disabilities.
Here you had a group of ragtag people who couldn't walk, couldn't talk, couldn't see.
Marching to the Capitol steps.
Really creating the most significant piece of civil rights legislation since the Civil Rights Act of 1964.
Police block access to the Capitol.
We've made progress in the built environment in a lot of areas.
Statistics for people with disabilities.
It's much more difficult to legislate things to change the hearts and minds of people.
Employment rate 35%, poverty rate 22%.
That work is still far from finished.
Only 14% have bachelor's degrees.
When we first approached Terry Mazzini at the Chicago Community Trust with the goal of using the anniversary for change, Terry listened to us and then came back and said, "You're not thinking big enough." He understood that we need the paradigm shift that has occurred within the disability community and frankly within the law to now be a paradigm shift shared by everybody. And to do that, we needed everybody to be involved.
Steve Pemberton.
So the goal of ADA 25 is to take a look back and to look forward. A look back to celebrate the accomplishments of the first 25 years of the American Disabilities Act, primarily focused on creating new avenues of access. But the next 25 years, moving us from corrective action, doing the right thing, to looking at disability as a competitive advantage for organizations, for communities, and for our country.
Karen Tamley.
This is the year to push forward opportunity, accessibility, and inclusion for people with disabilities. What will you do?
A middle-aged man.
What will you do?
A priest signing.
What will you do?
An Asian woman.
What will you do?
A Hispanic man.
¿Qué va a hacer usted?
A blind man.
What will you do?
A middle-aged woman.
What will you do? We are greater together.
An African-American woman. Words, 8825 Chicago. Greater together, 8825chicago.org. Hashtag 8825 Chicago.